Let's do.
Hi, everybody. I am here with my friend and business partner, Rod Gilchrist. You know, more and more these days, some of my favorite people are from Australia.
Mm.
But I love your story. With this product, we often talk about the basic areas we get results with, you know, more energy, less pain, better sleep, better mental clarity, and for lucky people, also changing how your body's shaped. And we kind of skim over the better mental clarity thing.
Mm.
Yet sometimes I think that that's potentially the most important one. And I love your story. You have the biggest church on the Gold Coast of Australia, right? We chat and I talk about my heroes of the faith. You're like, oh yeah, I know that guy. Rod knows everybody. But I love your story about your improvement in mental clarity and mental health on this product as a minister. So share away.
Okay, thanks, Stephen. Yeah, that's actually true. Like I've been a pastor for 37 years, and we actually have the largest and best facility on the Gold Coast as far as churches go, and great congregation. And I think over the time I've been here, probably over 1 million people plus have been through church, so quite significant. But interestingly enough, as I got older, I have suffered more with anxiety and depression. And I think it's sort of a compounding effect of a couple of things. Possibly, when you are a pastor, you get to deal with people's pain permanently. So people's lives intrude in yours. And so whenever the phone would ring, it would normally only ring if it was someone who was in trouble or in need or a problem. So I sort of had this building over a period of years of a sense of dread and doom and sadly, I've performed more funerals than I would ever wish anyone to ever do, and I've seen some terrible things in hospitals, and I've seen and involved in all kinds of people's messes, as you would imagine. But
Yeah.
but over a period of time, I was less able to cope, and so I would say the last 10 to 15 years, it's been incredibly difficult for me to just keep on top of things. So, through praying and fasting and reading the Bible, doing all the things that we all should do
Sure.
and still continue to do. I just couldn't manage to totally beat it. In fact, it was a daily fight. I mean, and sometimes hourly and sometimes minute by minute fight for me. So
Yeah.
that was how I was.
You
And
know,
then
sorry to interrupt here. You gave this analogy that I love. And you said, Steve, you go, everything I built in my life, I think you said, I built with my left hand, and with my right hand, I held a sword to beat off depression and anxiety.
yeah,
I was like, wow, that's such a visual. I'm like, okay, I get it. You know,
Yeah, and if anyone's seeing me preach on a Sunday or anyone catching up with me, that people often say, "You're the happiest man we've ever met. Like you're the nicest guy," and that's true because when the grace is on you, it's all good. But behind the scenes, and I didn't want to let people see my brokenness, and I didn't want to vent that out for people. I'd
sure,
be praying for people for their healing. So in my own instance, that I was always portraying through faith what I believed to be true, and that I was healed. But behind the scenes, I was suffering terribly, and having waking up at night with night terrors and just the fear of just anxiety and depression. And I would have to get up every day and have a good talk to myself and say it's going to be a good day. Now you better get yourself together. And then when PHIX came along, and that came through a divine moment too, Stephen. So I mean, it was through a time of prayer and fasting. Our whole church was doing this as a church, and I was praying, and the Lord led me to this product, and I wasn't at all interested to get involved. That was not my deal at
yeah,
all. And so I was fascinated by the molecule, the mature hop extract, and I have a background in science. I worked in the pharmaceutical industry for a while, and I'm an avid reader of clinical trial papers. So I have a bit of a geek when it comes to science. So I sort of went down that rabbit hole and investigating how MHE3 could work. And then I sort of got captivated by the science. So I thought, I'm going to try this. I need to shed a few pounds. There's no doubt about that. Because one of the things with anxiety and depression is you do tend to comfort eat and
yeah.
and and things. Your whole life goes skew because it literally does control you in some ways. So yeah, so I tried it. It took a few weeks to arrive from America to Australia, and it was probably a week to two, just under probably 2 weeks later. It was my wife who noticed the change first. She said to me, she said, you just seem calm. And I was working frantically
Yeah,
because I found myself talking to people about the product and, church stuff. And,
yeah,
and, and I realized, Stephen, that after 2 weeks or so that the level of anxiety had decreased. And I like to think of it like a switch with a dimmer switch. You turn the light on. So for me, it was like a switch was turned on, which was the light came on, or the darkness, was dimming. And then as I stayed on the product, and now we're coming close to a year, it's like the dimmer switch is just being ramped up. So the light is getting brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. And we know in the Bible it says that the darkness, cannot comprehend it. So the darkness is diminishing and diminishing and diminishing. So we talk about the black dog of depression, which is that yapping, barking dog that's in your face constantly at night and during the day, and this anxiety, this dread, this fear, these thoughts, these negative thoughts, self-talks, things that happen behind the scenes in the background apps that run in the back of your head,
yeah.
driven by the vagus nerve and parasympathetic nervous system. And then I have found over time that darkness has completely dissipated. In fact, that black dog of depression that used to yap in my face, I can't even hear it anymore. It's like it's just
Hmm.
not there. And
Oh,
I cannot tell you how good it feels to actually not
yeah,
have to, as you said, fight. Like I felt like everything I've done in terms of building, buying land, doing a development, project managing our building, doing a subdivision of our property where we put in a service petrol station and a coffee shop and a chicken takeaway shop. Everything that I did through fighting hard to get the job done, but also having a sword in my hand, fighting the negativity of this is going to fail, this isn't going to work, you're going to die. It's like, oh, where is this coming from? And
yeah,
I tried praying, trying to cast the devil out of myself, all this stuff. You do everything, but just this molecule MHE3 changed my life. And I cannot tell you the way I feel is, and some of those things you said earlier, I have more energy. My mental clarity is crazy. I feel like I talk 3 times faster because my brain can actually get the words out now that it once before couldn't. So I have to keep reminding myself, hey, slow down a little bit because my brain is running at such a high functional rate where normally it
love it.
wouldn't. Sleeping like I've never slept in my life. When I wake up in the middle of the night, there's no darkness to wake up to. It's just like I might go to the bathroom and then I fall back into sleep and I'm gone. I'm asleep. I wake up refreshed. But the biggest thing for me, and most people probably don't, or maybe those who have had this or have this would understand this. The amount of energy you consume fighting to stay on top of anxiety or depression or discouragement, or the negative self-talk, or the words of others, or having a bad self-image, or
Sure,
something that's happened in your past that you may be fighting, something that happened in your childhood or as an adult, the trauma. So you're in a constant battle. And of course that then elevates everything in your body to be in this fight mode, whether you realize it or not. So you've got these elevated your chemicals are through the roof. And like I had blood tests to prove that I was really, really high up in everything that I shouldn't have in my system. But anyway, once that goes, you've got all this, and you don't have to fight to to be happy and to be joyful and to be normal in inverted commas. You have all this extra time on your hands to dedicate to other things because you're no longer in a battle with these things that you would constantly have to fight. Now you've
sure.
got time,
Time and
and
energy and resources. Yeah,
and now I'm a grandfather of 6. I look after my mother of 91 who lives with us, and I find that I'm working with grandkids jumping all over me and running around everywhere, and my mum saying, from downstairs saying, Rodney, I don't feel well. And the phone's ringing constantly. I've got businesses happening all over the world. I've got stuff happening with the board and the church, and I'm preaching on Sundays, so I'm studying. And I realize I'm doing all of this so organically, and
yeah.
none of it is stressing me out. And I'm and I'm
Love
and
it.
I'm coping. It's
I
like
love it.
a whole new world.
I love it. Love it. I mean, I think research out there says if people are in flow, if executives are in flow, that they can be 400 to 500% more effective in what they're doing. And I think this product nutritionally is going to play a major role in that. Anyways, awesome. Love your story. I think we're going to impact a huge amount of people's lives all over the world. And this isn't just about helping people feel better. If we can do this, we can play a role in connecting people to what they're divinely called to do, right?
Exactly.
I think you and I both know that this, the black dog, the depression and anxiety has taken a huge number of people out of their calling, shortened their ministry. And I think in ministry, people don't think they're allowed to talk about it, but I think it's rampant for ministers in general. I would also say this, I think given what I'm seeing in some young people too, I think there is a stunning plague of harsh anxiety with young people these days.
Yep.
Just brutal. And without getting too much into it, uh, what young people will do to cure their anxiety is permanent and radical. We'll just say that. And I think that's part
Yes.
of it. And if we can give them another option, then that changes their whole life. So, anyways, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I
It's my
appreciate your
pleasure.
story.
Yeah, bless you. Thank you for your time as well.